I have a question for you. Yes, you. I have a question for you. What made you choose the bank that you currently use today? Did you choose it merely because of convenience, because it was the bank that stood out to you and it was right next door? Or did you choose it because it was the bank that the people you know use and they told you and recommended the bank to you and you decided to opt for it? Or did you choose it because you were intentional? You knew what your financial needs were, what your financial goals were, and you wanted a bank that fit your financial lifestyle. Hi, welcome back to our channel. Yes, I said it. This is our channel, not just my channel, our channel. On this channel, we talk all things money, how to manage your money, make your money, grow your money, and most importantly, how to ensure that we are financially leveling up this year and beyond. Today's video is going to be focused on how to choose the right bank account. It's not just choosing a bank account, it's being intentional about your bank account, ensuring that you're at least ensuring that the bank account that you're choosing is not taking away money from you through the different fees that they currently have today. Choosing the right bank account can be challenging. Most of us are not intentional about it. We just feel like, oh, I need a bank. I need somewhere to store my money. I am just going to choose anywhere. This happened to me. Let me tell you a personal story. I opened up my first bank account freshman year of college. I was really excited. I finally get to have a bank account to my name. This was part of the indication of adulthood to me. And what made me choose that bank? I chose that bank, one, because that was a bank that my parents were using. And secondly, it was a bank really close to where I lived. They had lots of physical locations where I lived. Those were the only two reasons why I decided to opt for that bank. Looking back now, that was not the right decision. That bank charges a lot of fees. I'm not alone. Most of us, when we choose a bank, we choose banks mainly because it's what's right in front of us. And we need to be more intentional. The reason why we need to be more intentional is because not all banks are created equal. The bare minimum is ensuring that the bank that you're putting your money in is not charging you crazy amount of fees where it gets to a point where the money you put in is not the same money you're able to get out of your bank account. But let's say you put in $100 this month, and the next month you look at your balance and your balance is now $80 because you've been charged fees. Today we're going to talk about the things you should consider prior to choosing a bank account. And even if you already have a bank today, the things you should, after watching this video, sit back and maybe call the customer service line for your bank and ask them these questions, just so you can be more aware about the fees and charges they're charging you. And if it does not fit your lifestyle, it does not fit your financial goals, maybe find somewhere else that will better suit you. The key things that we're going to be evaluating today, and I want you to keep in mind when you're choosing a bank, are four things. The first is the monthly maintenance fee. The second is overdraft fee. The third is transfer fee. And the last one is ATM fees. These fees, while they might look like very little amount of money, over time, they grow, they compound, and it becomes a lot of money that you're giving back to these banks because you were not intentional when choosing the right bank. Now let's talk about monthly maintenance fee. This is usually the monthly fee that banks charge you to maintain your account. To maintain your checking account or your savings account, some banks charge a monthly fee. These fees could range from anywhere from $4 to $25. Some banks do not charge for it, and some banks do charge for it. And even the banks that do charge a monthly maintenance fee, sometimes they might have an exception case. An exception case could be if you have a minimum balance in your account of a certain amount of money, they wouldn't charge you a monthly maintenance fee. Another exception case could be if you set up a direct deposit with them, they wouldn't charge you a monthly maintenance fee. But to be honest with you, that's just a lot to think through. Like we just need a place to store our money, a place to keep our money safe. I know I do not want to think through, oh, do I have enough in this account, in this monthly, to ensure that I don't incur a monthly maintenance fee? Or have I set up a direct deposit to this bank to ensure that I don't have a monthly fee? Or there might be a case where I have multiple banks and only one of my bank, I can only send direct deposit to at least maybe one or two of my banks. But what about the other banks? Do I now start incurring fees on them? I think the best bet is just looking for banks that do not charge monthly fees at all. The examples of those banks are Capital One, and they don't charge monthly fees. Why not be intentional and go with a bank that does not charge you a month? The fact of the matter is, most people might say, oh, $25, that's not a lot. But that is $25 times 12. In a year, that means you're paying a monthly fee of about $300 to the bank. That is $300 that you could have used to treat yourself to something nice that you actually want. That if you were intentional about, you wouldn't have wasted that $300. One of the reasons why we need to be intentional about the bank we choose. Not all banks are created equally, and we need to be very intentional before choosing a bank. So this one we're going to talk about is ATM fees. And these are out-of-network ATM fees. So this means is that, so most banks usually have a network of ATM, a group of ATMs that they would say is within their network. So if you withdraw money from any one of those ATMs that they've identified as being in their network, they will not charge you any fees. However, if you withdraw money from an ATM that is not within their network, then they will charge you a fee. This fee usually is around like $2.50 per withdrawal. And I know, like, what I used to do was going to the bank's website, searching to see which ATM was within their network, especially if I didn't have the bank's branch right next to me. It was just a headache. Like a consumer, I don't want to think about any of that stuff. And I know you all don't want to think about any of that stuff. So why not find a bank that will not charge you ATM fees, regardless of if it's in network or out of network? And better yet, why not find, if you're a traveler, if you're someone that's constantly traveling, why not find a bank that will allow you to travel and withdraw money from an ATM internationally and not charge you fees, not charge you an out of network fee? This is all about, this intentionality conversation that we're having today is really all about convenience and understanding the importance of convenience in your banking. $2.50 grows over time. Let's say you are someone who's just like, don't really care. You continuously get money out of an out-of-network ATM. And let's say you do this every single day for the next 30 years. You do this every single day for the next 30 years, and they're constantly charging you $2.50 every single day for the next 30 years. You would have given the bank $13,500 by the end of that 30 years. Imagine having $13,500 stored away 30 years from now. Imagine what you would have done with that money. But next one we're going to talk about is overdraft fees. So banks charge overdraft fees, and you usually incur this fee when you take out more than you have in your account. So say you have a balance of $100 in your account and you had a transaction of $150, and some banks will stop it. They won't allow the transaction to go through, which seems like common sense, right? They should stop it. Like, don't have that much. They should stop the transaction and not let the transaction go through. But some banks will allow that transaction to go through. And then after they do that, they will charge you. And the fee that's usually charged for overdraft fee is usually around like $34 to $36. That is a lot of money. I would rather go for a bank that that just stops the transaction. If I don't have that much money, the bank should know that I don't have that much money and don't even allow the transaction to go through. Save me the headache of trying to figure out, I have a lot, do I not have a lot? I mean, ultimately, the purpose of the bank is to help you maintain your money, maintain your account, right? That's one of the things they should be doing for us. Another thing, let's say they charge you $35 every month for the next 10 years. That money, year one, would be equivalent to a total of $420. In 10 years, it would be equivalent to about $4,200. In 30 years, it would be equivalent to $12,600. Do you now see why we need to be intentional about the bank we're choosing and why these bank fees are extremely important? The money adds up. The money adds up, especially when you put it into perspective. You're like, wait, I am giving a charity donation to the bank because I'm not being intentional. Because I'm not being intentional about the bank I'm choosing. There are banks out there today that will not charge you overdraft fee. Rather than charge you overdraft fee, they will stop you from making that transaction. Why not do your research and find those banks versus going with any Jack and Joe bank that's right around the corner from you that will charge you these fees? Next thing you need to evaluate is withdrawal fees. So they're usually associated with like savings account. So in FDIC, which is a federal government agency, they had a restriction, and the restriction said that an individual is only allowed to withdraw at most 6 withdrawals from their savings account on a monthly basis. If they did perform more than 6 withdrawals on a monthly basis, they could incur a fee from their bank. However, in April 2020, the FDIC announced that financial institutions were no longer required to enforce this regulation. They were no longer required to charge you a fee if you made more than 6 transactions in your savings account. There was no more cap as to how many transactions you were allowed to make in your savings account, and no more penalty associated with it. However, some banks have done without it. Some banks have eliminated the savings withdrawal fees, but some banks still have those savings withdrawal fees. This fee varies. It ranges from $10 to $12. The bank that chooses not to charge you could just stop the transaction. As mentioned, there are banks that are not even charging the savings withdrawal fee anymore. So why not consider those banks? I feel like when it comes to bank accounts, we're hurting ourselves more if we're not being intentional and not putting a microscope around some of those fine lines associated with our bank accounts. I need you to do me a favor. The next time you're deciding to open up a bank account, or even with your current bank account today, call the customer service line, go online, research, check to see if the bank that you currently bank at now or the bank you're considering for the future, if there is a monthly maintenance fee, number 1. Number 2, check to see if there's an overdraft fee. Number 3, check to see if there's an ATM fee, whether it be in network or out of network. Number 4, check to see if there's a savings withdrawal fee, most especially for a savings account. Can't just overly trust banks and trust that they have our best interest at heart, because at the end of the day, the bank is a for-profit organization. They need to make money to sustain themselves. They have an operation. They have a group of people that work for them that they need to pay. So they need to be profitable. So as a consumer, you need to also ensure that you have your best interest at heart and you are doing these research to find somewhere that meets and fits your financial goals and financial lifestyle. So a bit of research for us to figure out a bank that meets some of the criteria that I just mentioned. So minimum fees, no maintenance fee, no minimums, no savings withdrawal fee, no overdraft fee, no ATM fee. And one of the banks that I found that actually meets that goal is Charles Schwab's. I'm not affiliated with them. You do your research to see if it's an account that you would be interested in. But you'll enjoy this video today, and I will see you next Sunday on our next video. Let me know in the comments below. Please let me know in the comments below. The comments have been looking pretty dry. If you watched up until here, that means you're pretty interested in this channel. So let me know how you feel about this video, what you think about this video. Let me know in the comments. I love hearing from you all, and I actually respond back to every single comment. Along with that, if you're watching this video and you have not subscribed, what is going on? Hit the subscribe, hit the bell button at the bottom. Subscribe. I'll catch you next Sunday. Bye.